Highlight.
You're welcome back. Now, the Youth Fund and its issues have been dominating debate, this week, and we also saw an appearance by the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Pius Bijirimana, appearing before committees trying to explain the status reports coming out of, issues to do with the Youth Fund. And together with me in the studio to give us more, insight in that, because the youth are the majority and more of them are looking at this fund as a ray of hope. The chairperson, National Youth Council, Lirian Abba, on the Youth Fund. You're very welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for hosting me.
We know that about 120 billion was dispersed, about 120 something recovered. There are those issues, but I need you to give us a status report, for instance, like now on the Youth Fund. What are the current issues in play, and what are the major concerns? Why is it because money is involved? Why people now coming out saying, spotting the red dots?
Okay, well, first of all, the Youth Livelihood Fund is a revolving fund that was brought in by government in 2014. And for a youth to access this fund, you must be in a group of 10 to 15. But with the recent review, we reduced the numbers of the beneficiaries from 10 to 15 to 5. 5 to 10, you can be able to acquire this fund. And you have to have women involved, the young ladies, the youth women involved. You cannot get money if you own a group of men, but you can get money if you're a group of only ladies. So the fund has got, of course, some of the challenges. Just like when you're implementing any project in a project cycle, there are a number of issues that you encounter. And among the issues that we are faced with are the issues of the recovery being affected by, first of all, the first disbursement. When we first released that money, a number of politicians went out there, because during that time there's political time that just ended. So people went out there and said, oh, young people, this money is for just the casino, like saying thank you for voting.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we have this on record. So most of the young people got so much confused. Others didn't use the money well. Others ran away. So we had some challenges registered in the first implementation process.
But let me ask you first, before we even talk about implementation and rolling out money, disbursing the money and trying to recover it, there is a chronic problem in this country of handing out money to youth groups that do not even have business plans, that do not even have plans of how this money is going to be used. Well, and I think that problem is bouncing back at government. For instance, you know about the 50 billion, the controversy surrounding the 50 billion of where only 5 billion has been returned. And that is why these questions keep coming up. Does the Youth Fund or the Youth Livelihood Fund, the Gender Ministry, have a plan of making sure that there's proper sensitization before this money is dispersed? You go out there, give these people skills, see whether they actually have the necessary plans in the ETC, so that you try and mitigate these challenges in the near future.
Well, that's the beauty with the Youth Livelihood Program Fund, because first of all, the list of the beneficiaries are generated from the grassroots. The LC1 must consent that he knows you or she knows you. And before Ministry of Gender releases funds to the beneficiaries, the youth chairperson of that district has to append his signature on that, on the form for the request. And that's the reason why I was wondering why the members of the park committee were saying, oh, there are ghost groups. And I was asking myself, where does the ghost groups come from? Because before this money is given to these people, it goes through a process, and these people generate... What
process? Brief. What are the processes?
Well, the process,
how do you evaluate these groups? How do you evaluate these groups? Apart from picking forms, do you know who's picking forms? When they pick the forms,
they are taken through how to get the project, and they draw a business plan with the help of a technical staff at the district, which is called the CDO. So through that, that's when they guide them through that. If you want piggery, maybe this place is not good for you for piggery, so you might have to choose something else. And if you're asking for maybe 20 million, your project is only worth 15 million, so you need to adjust accordingly. They go through this. They also do training we do the monitoring as a National Youth Council leaders. We do the monitoring, we go and follow up that is this group really benefiting? If it's not, what's the challenge? And we have found out some of the challenges, by the way, which has really helped them. Like, for example, some of the groups would come in and request for agricultural ventures, like they want to grow maize, and all of a sudden they're hit with hailstones and they fail to get what they expected.
The story is really very long, and I understand where government is coming from because this is really... do you think that system works, that method of handing out money to youth, whether you have all these systems in place, you have district commercial officer, ETC evaluations, does this... What have you noticed as government so far? Have you seen results? Is this working? Is it sustainable? What needs to be done to improve the state of affairs?
For me, as a national chairperson, I think there's no any other government program which is better than the Youth Livelihood Fund. And why I say so, because it is tackling unemployment at a level of even those who have not gone to school have the capacity to access this fund. It is increasing production in terms of agricultural products. They are adding value chains. They are addressing issues of unemployment. This program is very good. However, we are not implementing this program to the level that we are supposed to do, because Ministry of Finance promises this amount of money within a financial year, and that money is never produced. You don't know how it feels to look at a youth group, you know, getting disappointed because they've waited for the money and they come and say, okay, Ministry of Finance has just released this for your district, so you can't get it. The program is good. The project is designed very well, thanks to the brain behind it, Pius Bigirimana, but the implementation needs to be done through a goodwill from government by adding in more money into these projects that every youth around can benefit. During the presidential campaigns, I remember the president noted and promised 2 billion for every district. Well, some districts have already gotten around 150 billion, others are still in 180, depending on how their performances are. But I really want to request that the Ministry of Finance puts in a priority on these youth issues. If you can prioritize other sectors, why not the biggest population of the people in this country? And that's the young people. Because if we don't support this, then that means we are sitting on a time bomb.
Lirian Abba, the chairperson, National Youth Council, the senior presidential advisor. Damn, you're a big person. But I think I wish you could also suggest that youth will put more of this money into training and skilling these guys, so that by the time they come through to do business or even to get this money, they can actually put it to good use. Absolutely. But we appreciate government efforts to put money into youth livelihood programs. And have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Great.